Welcome to the Random Workshop, where four random guys build, refurbish and reinvent random projects. Since we do this on a daily basis, we decided to start a channel and basically showcase what we do. Welcome to the second of our videos in our series. We hope you enjoy it and find it useful. In this video, we were asked to build a propagation stand. Now, one of the ladies in the house loves growing plants, and she's got a propagation, well, you could call it a string, that she's made, and it hangs off of her windowsill. It works. The problem is, when the wind blows and that, the test tubes hit the burglar bars, and yeah, they crack and break. So, our starting point was test tubes that were lying around that hadn't been used. We found a spade, the right size, so we knew we'd be able to cut holes in wood and place the test tubes in them. So what we did was took an old piece of plank. It was actually from an old headboard from a bed, and what we did was we cut them all to the same length and then slightly tiered them just to give it an interesting effect. Then what we did was found true center, divided the board into 6 pieces, so each board will be holding 6 test tubes, and then marked out dead center for each of the sections. So we used our 1-inch spade and drilled 1-inch holes through our wood. Again, we're not going to bore you showing you us drill, what is that, that's 3, 12, 6, 12, 18 holes. So we'll just show you snippets. There you go, there's the first hole that's been drilled. Nice and clean, and it actually comes out quite smooth with the spade. Second hole being drilled. Second hole finished. And moving on to the third. You'll actually see that the spade is actually scorching the wood, and the reason for this is it's actually a very, very hard wood that we're using. It's a Meranti. Once we had the holes cut out, they actually came out very, very well. There you go. There's our first one with the 6 holes, and those will be fitting the test tubes. We then placed the wood in a vise. You'll see we didn't use wood or anything to brace it. It's a very, very hard wood, and obviously we just didn't tighten the vise to the point where we were going to damage the wood. And then with a belt sander with 100 grit sandpaper, we just went over it and smoothed all of the edges. We took off some of the varnish that's probably been on this wood for 40, 50 years. And there you go, down to the original wood. We obviously did this with all 3 sections. Now we needed to sort out something to actually hang these by. So we carefully measured and put small little marks quite close to the corners just to give it as much stability as we could. so that we could eventually set up something to hang these with. Again, we're not going to bore you with showing you marking all of them. Once we've marked all of them, we put the wood in the drill press and drill holes through. And there you go, our first 4 holes done. We found some nylon string in the garage, and it's going to work perfectly. You can see it fits through the holes. The next step was to apply some gel stain. We've actually used this product in our previous video as well. It's a really good product. There's no mixing, you don't have to worry about a paintbrush. Just give it a nice shake, put a dab on a piece of cloth, and you simply just wipe it onto the wood. For this one, we're actually using Meranti gel, so it's specifically made for this wood. And all it's going to do is just deepen the color of it. It also protects the surfaces and just bring out the actual luster of the wood. And like I said, it's a really nice product to use. It works so quickly, a couple of minutes, and the first piece is already done. Well, sorry, almost done, one section left. Now it doesn't look like it's actually changed wood much, but we will be putting on multiple layers of the gel just to bring out the color nicely on the wood. You'll see here, just after one layer that we put on, and we didn't go too heavily on it, you can actually see that it's changed the wood quite a bit already if you look at the raw wood compared to what we've just stained. Here's the wood after 2 stainings, and we decided that 2 was going to be enough. So now that we'd finished the staining, the next thing was to attach and put all of these things together. We actually tried off camera to tie knots to hold the different levels, but it just didn't work nicely. I came across these ferrules in the garage, and the nice thing is there's actually a size that'll fit over some the nylon string we had found. So just using the nylon string, pair of scissors, a lighter, and some long nose pliers, we actually came up with quite a good way to secure the string. The first thing that we did is just melt the ends. It just stops it from fraying, and it makes it a lot easier to get through the holes. And it also makes it easy to get through the ferrules. Once we had everything ready and we'd melted the one end, we took a nice long length, more than we actually needed, cut that off, and again melted that end. Now it was simply a case of just finding the right size ferrule, feeding the string through it, and then basically what we're going to do is we're going to crimp the ferrule onto the string. So there's the ferrule. String goes through it. And you'll see there's actually a notch already cut into the ferrule, and all we did was crimped it on that notch. It actually holds the string incredibly tight. Now, as I mentioned before, we tried this with knots, but we just could not get everything to be the same length. Using the ferrules, you're basically assured that you can put the ferrule exactly where you want it and make sure that at the end of the day your little shelves that are holding the test tubes are 100% straight. Although we haven't done it here, you can actually knock those ferrules into the wood. So the next thing was just to work out what our separation had to be between the shelves. And we worked it out to be about 20 centimeters. Once we had marked where it was, all we had to then do was put ferrules at the right places, crimp them, and put the next shelf on. So there you go. There's a close-up of the actual ferrules, and those we haven't actually knocked into the wood. Here you can see we've actually knocked those into the wood, so you can get them to basically hide away so that you can't see them. So there we go. There's our first two layers, and then for the third layer we'll just show you the process. So the first thing is just to lay out the strings, make sure that they're not knotted, and then just using a simple ruler, measure where the next set of ferrules had to be. Okay, so here you can see us feeding on a ferrule, sliding it down the string, measuring it to about 20. Making sure that we had it in place nicely. And keeping a firm grip on your pliers. Okay, let's try that again. There we go, much better this time. And we crimp it on, and it's in place. Obviously we're just going to do that for the others, and I'll just speed this up so that you can see the other three. There we go. Crimped on, measured, crimped on, and it's done. Oh, sorry, one last one. There we go, and crimped on. Okay, now we can take our last shelf, pull everything through, and when we grab the ends of our string and lift, voila, we have our propagation stand. And here you can see just how nicely the actual test tubes fit in to the shelves. And obviously you can hang this against the wall, well, anywhere you need it to. And here's what the finished product looks like once it's been hung properly, water put into the test tubes, and the plants for propagation. It looks absolutely stunning. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.